Hey guys, I want to talk about something very important today, a question that we can all ask ourselves at different stages of the recovery journey, especially in moments when we're feeling quite stuck and hopeless and feeling like maybe our chances of recovery are not that great. But before I go on to that, please subscribe to this channel, let us know what you think, and also if you want our coaching services and want to know more about it, you can click the WhatsApp link in the description below and we'll guide you further. So, I think a question that everyone should ask themselves is, am I doing everything I can to recover? Right? It's quite an uncomfortable question to ask yourselves at times, and also a little intimidating as well, because when you ask that question, what you're automatically going towards is taking more accountability, right? And accountability is a little different from blame, because I mean, blame is like, blame is where you just start putting yourself down. But with accountability, you're actually trying to take more agency over your life that actually helps you feel better about yourself, to be honest. At least it did with me, because I could at least then see that, okay, there are certain things that I have done, and yes, that's great, but then there are certain things I really do have to hold myself accountable for even more, because I'm not doing that enough. And if I do that, maybe I can better my chances of going towards the goals that I want to achieve in life. In this case, particularly being recovery itself, right? And but the reason that it's an uncomfortable question to ask yourselves is because it feels like, I mean, it initially it kind of feels like, oh, I'm lacking somewhere, right? And that can feel slightly bad, but also like, after the initial kind of feeling bad about, okay, I'm lacking somewhere, you can actually start to be like, wait, because I'm the one lacking somewhere, I'm also the one who then can't lack in it as well. So I can therefore take some steps in order to move forward, right? Um, but I think many people don't want to ask that as well, because it confronts them with a certain uncomfortable reality, which is that there is like uncomfortable steps that you still can and have to take in order to recover. That's something that is a very hard thing to acknowledge for many people, because I think with something like OCD, you're already feeling so anxious and uncomfortable and just like tired of everything. Who wants to go through even more discomfort, right? It doesn't, in the head, like when you're thinking about it in your head, it doesn't compute, right? It doesn't make any sense that if I'm already feeling uncomfortable, why do I need to go through even more discomfort, right? There's also like a slight difference over here, because there's a difference between just putting up with discomfort, uh, like for many years, and going towards discomfort yourselves deliberately and purposefully, right? Because I mean, think about it. Like, if we have, I think, a pain in our leg, let's take that example. If we have a pain in our leg and it's pretty constant, and we're just literally putting up with it, yes, it can increase our tolerance of that a little bit, but also not so much, because because it's happening to us. Whereas, again, I'm going to go to a gym example that I used in the previous video as well. If you're going to the gym regularly and you're doing your leg days quite regularly, and you are inducing that kind of like, uncomfortable pain, in not pain, but like the stretch that you get in your muscles, and it doesn't feel that great the next day and you can't walk, but you're putting yourself through that deliberately yourself. So the kind of frustration tolerance gain that you can get from that by inducing it yourself is very different compared to you just thinking, okay, I'm just going to put up with this like random pain that I'm experiencing, right? There's a slight difference in the mindset that you approach it with. So it's similar with something with putting yourself through discomfort deliberately yourself through doing recovery work. What does that recovery work look like? That looks like, have you really given up all the compulsions that you're still doing? Have you really tried to push yourself in trying to improve your life structure? Or, like some people who are compulsively trying to chase productivity, for them, have you really made an effort to slow down in life, right? Have you really looked at all your beliefs? Have you done all your exposures? Are there things that you're still really, really, really avoiding because you don't want to go towards them? You may do like, 50 exposures, but that one exposure that you're trying to desperately avoid and you're like, nope, I'm just not going to do that, that's the one that is still going to continue to have a hold over you. So, are you really giving yourself the best chance at recovery by trying everything that you really can, right? Because when, again, like I said, it's a very uncomfortable question to ask ourselves, because then most times we know, then we find the answer. It's like, yeah, I guess I just have to do that really one tough thing that I'm trying to put off and trying my best to avoid it, right? Again, I know that because I was the king of procrastination. I was the absolute king of avoidance and making excuses and just being like, I don't want to do it. Nope, I just don't. I don't think I can. I don't think I can survive that uncomfortable thing. Nope, I still have to do this compulsion because this compulsion is the one thing that I think can help me sustain my sanity and my stability, right? And I just did not want to do anything. Like, I was very comfortable trying to think about, or trying to just think about uncomfortable things, right? So uncomfortable concepts, really trying to work them out in my head, absolutely comfortable doing that. Even some of the more difficult topics that come with recovery, or we're trying to work through different themes, I was completely okay with just thinking about them. As far as action was concerned, getting out of my damn bed because I did not want to leave my bed, I was absolutely addicted to it. Not wanting to do any of my exposures, they just terrified me, and beyond a certain point, like, honestly, the fear of it went away. It was more than just annoyance that no, I just don't want to do it. It was just stubbornness. It was pure stubbornness. Nothing, no fear particularly. Just being stubborn about, I just don't want to do it. And then when I wasn't doing that, but still complaining about, like, why am I not getting better? Why is this, like, anxiety still there? Why is this discomfort still there? Why do I still have to put up with it? Again, asking myself that question became a vital turning point, which was like, am I doing everything I can in order to recover? Am I putting all my effort into that? And your answer, if I ask you that question, are you doing everything you can in order to recover? And if your answer is yes, I'm trying really hard to not seek reassurance, but it's just too difficult, right? So, okay, maybe you are trying your absolute best to stay away from reassurance, but then you still end up asking for it. So then there are two perhaps ways forward with that. Number one is maybe you have to try harder. And I know it seems impossible in the moment because it's like, how much harder can I try? But maybe there is a way that you can try harder, right? Maybe there are certain things that, depending on the situation, maybe you can employ certain different tactics in order to stay away from reassurance, right? And then the second thing is then also, again, like, have you at least really tried to then work on the belief behind why you think you need reassurance, right? So, I mean, those are the two, broadly speaking, in this specific example, those would be like two things that you can look at, right? But again, like, I used to also, like, I would often think that, am I trying my best? And I would immediately be like, I am trying my best. I am really trying to muster up the courage in order to do my toughest exposures, right? Again, exposures were like, for me, they were the most difficult part. And my immediate response would be, yeah, I am trying to muster up the courage. I am trying to build that confidence and that motivation to really work on my exposures. But then I also, this is like the uncomfortable reality I had to confront, which was, well, number one, I'm really not accepting the reality that the exposures I have to do have to be done without courage. Because, I mean, you can't force courage, you can't force motivation. In fact, motivation and courage come through taking action. So it was only after I started doing the first of a series of difficult exposures when I was like, Though after I did the first really difficult one, I was like, okay, I guess I can do the next one, right? A little bit of that glimmer of motivation and courage kicks in, a little bit of it, and then you build further on it, right? So first of all, I didn't want to accept the fact that the first step I have to take is going to be done feeling completely scared and anxious and underconfident about it, right? So that was one thing I really had to think of. And then the second thing was, if I was being absolutely brutally honest with myself, yes, I was not giving myself the best chance to sit with discomfort and really face it. I really wasn't. Because internally I was just still like, no, I don't want to do it. No, absolutely no. And I was very well aware of it, by the way, as well. I was very well aware of me doing that, to be honest, but I just also didn't want to acknowledge it to myself that I was trying to dodge the question. I didn't want to acknowledge that I was just being stubbornly irrational about it. I didn't want to acknowledge the fact that I was just at this point. I mean, by that point, I was basically just complaining. I really was. I'll be very honest with myself. Like, I was just complaining and I was just being like, no, I just don't want to do it. Really. So I think confronting myself with that question and with that reality became like a turning point for me in order to start taking more accountability and responsibility for my own state of mind. Because I tried many years for recovery to come to me itself. I tried to sit on my throne and be like, hey, please enter my majestic palace when you want to. It didn't happen. I tried waiting for it. I tried, like, beating around the bush, thinking that, okay, maybe I don't have to work as hard in order to recover. Maybe I don't have to go through that scary discomfort in order to recover. Maybe I can do something else to, like, something more secondhand in order for me to get to where I'm going. I've tried it. I tried everything in the book. I tried everything in the book to just not do the things I really didn't want to. But that's exactly why I was stuck for so long as well. So I had to be realistic with myself. I had to give myself some tough love on that. I had to be really brutally honest with myself, which I wasn't being brutally honest. And I was trying to cut corners. That's just the truth of it. So, again, by the end of you watching this video, you can ask yourself that question. Have you really tried everything? And then think of, are there certain things that I can still do and give myself that chance to maybe recover, right? So let me know what answers you come up with after you ask yourself that question. Absolutely would love to know. And also would absolutely love to help you out as well with some direction as well. So if you have any topic suggestions for me to do any future videos as well, let me know about that as well, and I can try to cover that. Hope you have a good day, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.